venture capitalists all over the world that look to the innovators of new platform and network of investment opportunities. A lot of people talk about doing it. Ajay Royan is actually doing it with Mithril Capital. What are network effect and platform opportunities you're looking for?
I think platform and network are the two most overused terms in Silicon Valley.
Right.
So it matters what they mean, and it matters if people are actually building platforms and networks, because when they get it right, these are the largest and most powerful companies in the world. Facebook is both a platform and a network. Amazon is a great platform that has some aspects of a network to it, but is not as much of a network as Facebook is. We think of platforms as companies that are packing in a deep, insightful approach to a hard problem into an elegant, easy to consume solution. And that makes it easy for people to adopt it. Like AWS is a good example. It's a platform inside Amazon. And so when people adopt that platform to consume this complex set of capabilities in a very intuitive and easy way, you can tack on more and more functionality over time and become a super channel. So you capture a lot more spend in a given space. So we at Mithril spend a lot of time looking for companies that understand this value proposition and look for narrow markets that they can dominate with this approach, where technology becomes their friend.
This is much, much easier said than done. So what is the profile or capabilities of a founder you're targeting?
We're always looking for founders who have interesting lived experiences that allow them to ask different questions than what would be standard. So we look globally. When I say globally, I mean exotic countries like Kansas City in the middle of the US. And I say it's exotic because it is actually closer to go from Silicon Valley mentally to London, England, than it is to get to Kansas City, right? And the idea is not to go to Kansas City as a tourist, but really to go and learn to Kansas City, to Miami, to Phoenix, to Austin, Texas, Chicago, Toronto, Montreal, all of which are areas or places we frequently visit in the course of a year, or even San Diego, which is just an hour from here, but a different world, mentality-wise. Because we're looking for people with different lived experiences. Some might have grown up inside the supply chain industry, and they might have worked in a large warehouse operation, but they also understand technology, and one or two problems that they've seen recurring in their lives might be nagging at them, and they just want to go fix it. In other cases, we see lifelong robotics hobbyists who decide that they need to build a robotics company, and they go and build one. Or a commercial banker who's run a large $20 billion commercial bank in the Midwest who decides he wants to completely revolutionize trade finance by replacing banks with something else. As a banker, somebody who understands that, but that's a lived experience that allows them to ask, to identify a unique set of needs, and then to be able to address those needs using technology in a product. That combination makes for a really interesting, it's a very powerful combination. And the key is that people are not, blindly copying each other. It's a lot less interesting to find individuals who want to be a Silicon Valley founder.
Well, that's very much something you talk a lot about, is that this idea of the momentum trade and the pile on. And I know that's something that you really have steered very widely clear of with Mithril.
What you don't want is people starting companies that are the X of Y. It happens a lot. The Uber of dog walking, or the Facebook.
And there was a phase of each of those, right?
Absolutely. And the fact of the matter is that the Facebook of Persia happens to be just Facebook. Right. Except in China and Russia, everywhere else it's just Facebook. You want to be very aligned with the best founders, and the best founders are those who are trying to run away from the herd.
Right.
So if you're an investor that derives any comfort from the herd, and it's not unfair, because investing is hard at some level. There's a lot of risk in the kind of investments that we make, because there is no actuarial model to describe what's going to happen. It doesn't fall across this nice, normal distribution of outcomes. In fact, it is that power law, and the power law is scary and exciting to get right. So identifying people who are different, directionally correct, and capable of executing. That trifecta is what you're looking for, and that's what we're looking for. You can't even get away with 2 out of 3. If you're different and you can execute, but you're not directionally correct, doesn't work. If you're different and correct and you can't execute, doesn't matter. And if you're correct and you can execute, but it's not different enough, then there's tons of competition. And people always underestimate how nonlinear the amount of competition is.